Well, so now we're gonna go over the topic of integers, just trying to clarify basic concepts that are important for us to be able to understand exactly the information provided in the statement and the question being asked. So let's start with defining what are integers. And integers, by definition, are just like whole numbers, what many people know as whole numbers. For me, integers are basically numbers with no decimals, okay? Basically, they are the numbers that have no decimals, okay? Now, these integers can be positive. So, for example, 7, 123, a million, 200,000, okay? As long as they don't have a decimal, that's gonna be an integer. They can be positive, they can be negative, right? It can be like minus 13, negative 127. All right, there will be also integers. Why? Because yes, the condition that we just need to meet is that there are no decimals, okay? They don't have decimal components. So that would be an integer. In fact, again, considering that the definition of integers are numbers that have no decimals, 0 will be an integer as well, okay? Now, within integers, we have odd integers and even integers. So odd integers are those integers, those whole numbers that are not divisible by 2. So no divisible by 2, okay? So for example, it can be negative 27, negative 5, it can be 7, 111, etc. Okay, those are odd integers. On the other hand, even integers are those numbers that are divisible by 2. So in this group of even integers, we are going to have, again, they can be positive or negative. So we're gonna have numbers like negative 8 or negative 1,246, because these numbers are divisible by 2. On the positive side, we can have, well, anything else. We can have 4, or we can have 28, or 786, sorry, any of these guys. Those will be even integers, numbers that are divisible by 2. Now let's talk about 0, because 0 tends to be or not that a special number, but many people get confused on how should we classify 0. So 0, first, we need to know that is an integer, okay? Second, we need to know that this guy 0 is not positive, is not a positive integer, nor negative. So it's not positive, not negative. It is neutral, but it is an integer. And actually, this guy, it is an even integer, okay? If we follow the definition, 0 is divisible by 2. So again, it complies with the definition. So 0 is an even integer. Do keep that in mind. Now let's talk about those basic operations of integers. So the basic operations, and this is for you guys to start practicing and remembering how to do these operations by heart. So with integers, definitely we need to remember how to add integers, how to subtract integers, how to multiply, and how to divide integers. Okay, this is something that we just need to remember and get practice again into it, because I hope that you all be fluent on these basic operations. And I clarify that whenever I say fluency, I am referring not to the velocity, the speed at which you are able to perform an operation, but guaranteeing that the very first time that you perform any of these operations, you're gonna get the correct answer. That's what we're looking for. Now, let's talk about division for a little while, because I have a couple of things that I want you to know about division. First, I'm going to show you the way I tend to divide, because it tends not to be the way we learn in Colombia or in many Latin American countries, and it is not exactly the method that many people are taught in the States or in England. So, step by step, the division that I perform Let's say that I want to divide number 1, 7, 3, 2, and let's say that this guy is going to be 2 and 4. I know that this number should be divisible by 4. Okay, so the way I divide, I start taking from left to right. I start analyzing digit by digit. Okay, remember that I'm going to go in this direction from left to right, and I start analyzing digit by digit again. So I start here with the 1. So how many times does 4 go into 1? So it's 0. And I have still 1 left. So that 1 that is left, I just write it next to the next digit, the one that follows to the right. Now this number is not really at 7, this number becomes a 17. And I keep performing the same analysis. How many times does 4 go into 17? So I know that it will be 4 times, and I will have 1 left, because 4 times 4 is 16, to 17, there is 1 left. So that 1 that is left, I just write it and jot it down next to the next digit. Now, we continue with the process. 4 into 13. I know that this thing is going to fit 3 times. It's 12. To 13 is 1. Now, 4 into 12. I know that it is 3, and there is no anything left, so this is kind of a 0. Now pay attention to this next step. How many times does 4 go into 2? I cannot fit 4 into 2, so my answer is going to be 0, and I still have those 2 left. So the very last number becomes a 24. And it becomes a 24, so the analysis that I have to make is how many times does 4 go into 24, which will be 6. And this number right here, 43,306, is the result of dividing 173,224 by 4. Okay? Let's come up with another example. Say that I have, I don't know, let's come with something else. Let's say that I have 7, and I have here 2, I have 9, and I have here 4, and 2, and the last number that I'm gonna have here, yeah, the last 2 numbers that I'm gonna put here might be, I'm thinking quickly, 1 and 5. If I analyze it properly, I think that this number is divisible by 3. So let's again follow the process. 3, again, digit by digit. So 3 into 7 into 7. I can fit 3 2 times, and I have 1 left. So that one is right here. 3 into 12, it goes 4 times, and I have nothing left. So it's a 0. 3 into 9, it fits 3 times, and again, I have nothing left. So this is 4. 3 into 4, I can fit 3 once, and I still have 1 left. That 1, I put it to the next digit. 3 into 12, it's going to be 4 times. Gone, I have nothing left. 3 into 1, I cannot fit it, so it's going to be 0 again, and I still have that 1 left. And 3 into 15, I can fit it 5 times, and then again, this number that I wrote in blue is the result. That's what you call the quotient, all right? Now, what happens when we don't have an exact number? When the division is not exact? Say, I have the number 675, and I want to divide this number by 4. So, let's do the process. It's the exact same thing. We start from left to right. 4 into 6, it fits 1 time, and I have 2 left, right? So the 2 goes here. Now I have a 27. 4 into 27, I can fit it 6 times, right? It's 24, so to 27 is 3. I have 3 left. That I put it next to the 5, that is the next digit. And 4 into 35 goes 8 times. So 8 times 4 is 32. To 35, I still have here 3 left. So this is my answer, 168. And this number that I have left right here, when and I run out of digits from my original number, this is what you call the reminder. Okay, and that reminder, just be clear on that, because there are several questions that for some reason normally these tests like to talk about the reminder. So be clear what the reminder is, and that reminder is that number that we have left before we start finding the decimal digits. Okay, now we have a couple of things that I want you to remember that I think that are important, because every now and then some people get confused, especially with how do we deal with zero. Okay, so to remember, first thing, please do remember that whenever you have any number x and I multiply by 0, the answer is 0. That's the result. Okay, similarly, when you have any number divided by 0, this result is undefined. Okay, we cannot really perform that division, so that's what people call undefined. Any number divided by 0 will be undefined. However, when I have 0 divided any number, the result of this operation again will be 0. Okay, that's gonna be important. One other thing with 0, whenever you have exponents, whenever you have 0 to the power of any number, again the result is 0. But whenever you have any number to the power of 0, the result is always 1. Okay, 1 to the power of 0 is 1, 1 million to the power of 0 is 1, 37 to the power of 0 is 1. All right, keep that in mind. All right, very 4 or 5 specific aspects about 0 in operation. So we have 5 very specific things I would like you to remember for whenever we have to deal or perform operations that involve 0. Lastly, before we move into our next topic, regarding integers, we need to talk about factors and multiples. Okay, so which are the factors of a number? The way I define factors, the factors of one number are those numbers by which I can divide. All right, for example, let's talk about 10. So let's find the factors of 10. So I start analyzing. 10, can I divide 10 by 1? Yes, the answer will be 10. And when I say that I can divide, it's like I will perform the division and I will have no reminder. I'm going to have a precise and exact division. So 10 divided by 1, I can do it. So 1 is a factor. 10 divided by 2, I can do it because the answer is 5. I have no decimal, I have no reminder, so 2 is a factor. 10 divided by 3, if you do it, it will give you a value of 3.33, so it's a decimal. I cannot divide 10 by 3, so 3 is not a factor. 10 divided by 4 will give me 2.5, because the result is not an integer, is not a factor. Divided by 5, yes, I can divide 10 by 5, and the answer will be 2. 10 divided by 6, I cannot do it, or I can do it, but I will not get an integer. By 7, by 8, no, by 9, by 10. 10 divided by 10 equals 1, so 10 will be a factor. So these guys, 1, 2, 5, and 10 will be factors of 10. Okay? So again, the numbers by which I can divide any given number. I hope that is clear. Let's give it a try with another one. Let's give it a try with any other number. Let's say that you want to get this one. This was an even number. Let's try an odd number. Let's say that we got 18. So let's do the process. By which numbers can you divide 18? I can divide it by 1. Yes, I can divide it by 2. It's 9. I can divide it by 3 because it will be 6. By 4, it will not give me an integer. By 5, no. By 6, yes, because the answer will be 3. By 7, no. 8, no. By 9, I can divide it by 9. I cannot divide it by 10, nor 11, nor 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 will be the last one, okay? So these guys that are here are the factors of 18, all right? I hope that you are clear on that. Now, let's move to multiples. Many times people do get confused between factors and multiples, and this is gonna be clear. If they ask you an exercise, you have to deal with factors, you need to be clear what a factor is, or if you deal with multiples, you need to be clear what multiples are. So, what are multiples? Multiples are the result, okay, of multiplying a number by integers. Again, is the result of multiplying one number by different integers. Example, multiples of 8. Multiples of 8. So it's the result of multiplying a number, in this case 8, by integers. So what I'm doing is 8 times 1 is 8, meaning that 8 is a multiple. 8 times 2 will be 16. That means that 16 is a multiple of 8. 8 times 3, 24. So 24 is a multiple of 8. And so on. These will be infinite numbers. Okay, so these guys are multiples of 8. All right, these guys, all these ones, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, etc. These guys will be multiples of 8. All right, let's put here quickly another example. I don't know, 13. So, which are the multiples of 13? Again, we start 13 times 1 is 13. So 13 is a multiple. 13 times 2, 26. 26 will be a multiple. 13 times 3, 39. So 39 will be a multiple, and so on. So all these guys will be the multiples of 13. So be clear the difference between factors and multiples. Factors are the numbers by which I can divide, whereas multiples are the result of taking my original number, and multiplying by different integers. Okay? Again, few concepts on integers. The whole idea is simply for you to be clear that whenever you see these words in an exercise, in a statement of a problem, you understand what are they talking about. As always, I hope that this helps to refresh your memory.